Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right, we're live now. You ready?
I am ready. Here, let's see here.
Let me just make sure that it's live on YouTube first before we start.
Yes, present the places we can help your business sell to. Shanghai, Istanbul.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right, we're live now.
Hey there, Ty. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. Do you have your video on?
I do here. How do I stop the screen share here?
At the top.
At the top here. Okay, I can see how to turn it on. I can't see how to shut it off. That's weird. All right. Let's see here. Can you see me now?
No.
You
Okay.
Do you see me?
Yeah, now, it's better. All right. So sorry about all the technical difficulty there, guys. Hold on. Let me just do an audio test first. Okay. All right. What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen, and on the Google Hangout with me today, I got the Honorable Grandmaster, the Oracle of Cryptocurrency, LeonFu.com.
Hey, how are you?
Where are you broadcasting from, LeonFu.com?
Austin, Texas, as always.
Okay, and I'm broadcasting from the west side of Atlanta. And in this video, guys, we want to really quick talk about the effect that China has on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. As we're speaking right now, Bitcoin has dropped like $150 in the past hour. It was at, let me see here on my chart. It was like right around 1,060, 1,070, and now it tanked all the way down to as low as
I see 913 on Bitstamp.
Yeah, around 913, 915. And so we wanted to make this quick video for you guys so that you guys can understand what's going on and the effect that China has on Bitcoin, so that you guys don't panic and don't sell out too early, or not necessarily sell out too early, but at least you'll make the right decisions on your Bitcoin investments and your cryptocurrency investments. So you want to explain real quick, LeonFu.com, what's causing this $150 drop in Bitcoin in the last hour?
Yeah, well, I woke up this morning, and overnight, it sounds like Chinese government's making a move here. What they've done is they suspended Bitcoin and Litecoin withdrawals at the Chinese exchanges. Do you know which exchanges, Ty? I think it's trying to look up which two exchanges they've suspended. I think it's BTC China, was it? But anyway, well,
it's not. I don't think it's important so much at this moment. It's so important the exact exchange that they're suspending the customer.
Yeah, anyway, it's two major exchanges. I don't recall. I don't have it up right now as to which two exchanges are.
I'll find out real quick, and you talk about the effect that it has.
Yeah, but it's OKCoin and Huobi, I think. But anyway, what's happened is that they've said that they are suspending Bitcoin and Litecoin withdrawals. So you can still withdraw in currency, in fiat, and you can still deposit, but you can't take any Bitcoins, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of a Bitcoin exchange, right? You can buy Bitcoins now, but you can't take them out. So at least for a month, they said that they're doing KYC, AML, the usual things that government.
Okay, so for anyone that's new to cryptocurrency investing, KYC and AML stands for KYC stands for Know Your Customer, and AML stands for Anti-Money Laundering. So they have laws in place in most Western countries. They have in all the Western countries, they have KYC and AML laws that where the bank has to report to the law enforcement or the government agencies when someone is moving $10,000 or more, or if they want to put $10,000 into the exchange. And obviously, each Western country has a different limit. In the U.S., it's around $10,000. I'm not sure what the exact limits are in the European countries, or Canadian or Australian countries. But in every Western country, there's some type of limit or some type of anti-money laundering law that they have in place to make sure that people don't try to launder drug money or terrorist money or things like that, or illegal money altogether.
Yeah.
Now, you and I were discussing on the phone right before we started this broadcast, and that's why I suggested that we share our discussion with the cryptocurrency community. You talked about how each time China has one of these bans or these announcements or any shenanigans that they do with the cryptocurrency community or the Bitcoin community, it's starting to have less and less of effect. Could you recap that conversation you had?
Yeah, sure. So I think the government knows that they can't ban Bitcoin. And I believe that if they knew they could enforce such a ban, they would do it. I think they realize, not just the Chinese government, but I think pretty soon all governments, all the major governments will realize that they can't ban it, right? They can't just make it totally. We're just going to make Bitcoin illegal. I don't think that is, if they tried to do that, they know what's going to happen. It's just going to move to the black markets. It's just going to move to a country that is outside of their jurisdiction. And then they'll completely lose control over it. So they know that they can't, what I tweeted, they can't overplay their hand, right? They'd rather see what they can do, what controls they can place, and have at least some control over over Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And so I think what's happening is they're exploring that right now. Last month, if we look at our charts here, we ran all the way. I'm just going to use Bitstamp as an example of my exchange here. We ran all the way to 1140, and then on January 4th, or sometime around there, the Chinese government officials paid a visit to all of the major exchanges, and the result of that was they made them impose trading fees. Before, we had a lot of zero-fee trading going on, and I think they also made them reduce or eliminate margin trading. And the effect of that was we dropped all the way down to, I think, below 800 here. And that didn't really last that very long, because if you just look at the charts, we bottomed out on January 11th, and then we rallied all the way back, right? It was like 2 weeks to make up all those losses. And so now they're coming back. It looked like we were about to break the all-time highs again, and now they do this. And what we see is each time over the past few years, each time they come out, or each time an exchange gets hacked, it's having less and less of an effect on the price. And I expect that pattern to continue. I'm really curious, now that they've made this move to freeze all Bitcoin withdrawals, how long, how many days or how many weeks it takes for the price to recover. And I don't think it will last. If I'm going to place a bet here, I think we recover within 2 weeks, maybe sooner. I don't think this drop is going to last very long. In other words, I believe it's a buying opportunity. That's what I think.
So I have to agree with you on that. I think that 2 weeks. I would say I personally would say less than 30 days just to be safe. But yeah. I don't see it lasting very long. And I think that there was something that Andreas Antonopoulos said a while back. He said that Bitcoin's been around for the Bitcoin network has been around for many years now, and since 2009, and every day it's getting hacked, and every day, people are attempting to, crack the Bitcoin blockchain to steal people's Bitcoins and stuff. So what it's done is that it is like one of the few pieces of software out there that's become resilient. It's like its immune system is building up a tolerance to all these hacks and these attacks. And it's funny that Andreas said that with regards to the technical side of Bitcoin. But what he did not mention, and will mention it now, is the financial immunity that it has.
That's right.
He was talking about how hackers are trying to hack into the Bitcoin network, and I want to mention in this video about how every time the government and the financial institutions and exchanges get hacked, or they make laws and regulations. I remember there was a time when what is that guy from New York that he came out with the bit license. He wanted everyone to have a bit license in New York, and then after he got the guy who was in charge of the financial department in New York, where he required that anybody who was doing business, any type of Bitcoin business, had to get a license that's called a bit license. And then after he got that law in effect, then he quit and retired, and now he's consulting with people on how to get the bit license, which is a conflict of interest, because you put this law in place before you left office, and now you're charging people to help them get the bit license.
It happens all the time in government. I mean, this is revolving door we have in American government, where the Goldman Sachs becomes a Treasury Secretary, and they do a stint there, and then they leave the government, and then they make millions of dollars. It's almost as if they're being paid off, right? It's almost as if you become a regulator, make the rules, and then the industry then pays you after you leave office. They pay you for making those laws, or a consulting fee for helping them comply with the laws that you made, right?
Yeah, to understand the laws and regulations. That
But as if you weren't, as if that wasn't like a bribe being paid for you making those laws that they wanted you to pass it to begin with, right?
So back to what I was saying about Bitcoin's financial immunity, is that when the central banks and places come out with all these announcements and everything, and these bans and these regulations and the restrictions on the Bitcoin network, like you said, it's getting less and less of an effect. The first time they had these restrictions and regulations, it took this much time for the Bitcoin price to bounce back up, right? And then each time they do it, the time span, the window in which it has an effect on Bitcoin gets less and less. Yeah. And I think that there's going to come a point where there's going to be an announcement from the People's Bank of China, or any government, and it has no effect on it because the Bitcoin network has become financially immune to their regulations and their restrictions.
Yes, and I think that day will. I think when we get back together next year, 1 year from today, and we look back on this, we're going to be saying, "Don't you remember the day when the government would announce something and the price would crash?"
Right? and we would laugh about it because, and I think that what you're saying is true, because I think that they realize it, and I think that they're trying to figure out what to do.
Yes. Yes. I don't think these guys are stupid. I don't believe anyone in any government official in any major country doesn't realize this. But they, at the same time, it's their job to regulate the financial markets, and so they're trying to figure out what they can do. And they already know they can't ban it. They already know they can't just put these companies out of business. Well, they could, but they get one shot, right? Like if any country decides we're banning Bitcoin, right? All right, you're going to crash the markets, and now you're going to have to follow through, right? You're going to have to follow through, or the markets next time is just going to call your bluff. It's like poker, right? Like, you have a hand, you're going to bet it, and sooner or later you're going to get called, right? And then you have to show your hand, right? And that's something the government is very careful that they don't have a hand.
Hey, just real quick, whenever I'm talking, could you turn off your mic? And when you're talking, I'll turn off my mic because I think that there's an echo for the audience. But just real quick, I want to say, I want to ask you this, and then I'll mute my microphone while you explain it, right? So, So we understand that the Chinese government and other governments, when they put these regulations and restrictions and bans on Bitcoin, right, or whatever they decree, from their high throne towards the Bitcoin network, we know that it's having less and less of an effect on the Bitcoin network. So for an investor, what do you think that they should do? Like for me personally, I'm going to hold my Bitcoins right through it because I know that doesn't mean anything, because within a few weeks or a few days or a few weeks, Bitcoin's going to bounce right back up. What are your thoughts on what the investors should do? Because we have a lot of, since our channel is so popular among the cryptocurrency community and for new investors, there's going to be a lot of new cryptocurrency investors that's coming in for the first time. And this may be the first time that they experience a crash like this, a short-term crash like this from a government, issued decree. What are your thoughts on what the new investors should do, and what current investors should do, and what new investors should do? And I'll mute my microphone for that.
Yeah. So I think it depends on what the situation each individual investor or trader is in, right? Like if you have a job and you have new money coming in because you work, then these crashes, and you're saving for the long term, these crashes are an opportunity. I thought like the last rally we've had in the last couple of weeks, I thought that was the last time we would get Bitcoin under 1,000. I did not think that we would have another chance to buy Bitcoin under 1K.
I have to interject on that too. I agree with you on that, because I woke up this morning, I was really surprised to see that Bitcoin was under 1,000. If I had not loaded up on all the Bitcoins that I needed, I would look to get into maybe add some more to my position, but I'm already maxed out, so I cannot add any more. But if I could, around near the 900 would be where I would look to add on, because like you said, this is probably a shock to everyone that's been in Bitcoin, because like you said, that rally up, no one expected this. So this is, to me, it's like in China, the word for crisis is made up of two symbols. The first symbol is for danger, and I think the second symbol means opportunity. So in China, a crisis is a time of danger, but it's also a time of opportunity. So you can look at this crash as a time of danger, or you can look at it as a time of opportunity to get into Bitcoin at a lower price.
So yeah, for those that are those of us that are maxed out, like we can't add anymore, we're in it for the long term, and we see this pattern where it has less and less effect. And so we just hold. There's nothing to do. I mean, it sucks that, yeah, we took a short-term hit, and if you had to sell, it would have been nice to sell yesterday, right? But for people, there's still, most of the world does not own a single Bitcoin, right? Most of the world, and that means many people who are listening to us still do not have a single Bitcoin, even though I could say, what's different now is if I go up to people and say, do you know what Bitcoin is? I think I would say most people that I walk up to today have at least heard of what a Bitcoin is, at least have heard about it, even if they don't understand how it works or what it is, they know about it. So it's an opportunity for people who don't yet own a single Bitcoin to actually get in right now, because for the past 9 years, you should have bought every single crash, right? I mean, we're near all-time highs. The move to make since Bitcoin started trading in 2010 on Mt. Gox was to buy after every crash, right? And you'd be up tons of money. And I don't think this is any different. But on the other hand, people who maybe for a lesson for the rest of us who are in the Bitcoin community for a long time is you still want to keep cash on hand, like US dollars, perhaps, because you want to take advantage of opportunities like this. And you need money to take advantage of opportunities like this, right? You can't, perhaps we shouldn't be all in all the time on Bitcoin. Perhaps there's opportunities such as this if you had some spare cash to come in and buy. Because this isn't, I don't think this is going to be the last time Bitcoin crashes. I think, the government's going, even though if the long-term trend is up, which it has been over the past 8 years, there's plenty of crashes along the way, which means if you have cash, you can still take advantage of these. So I think that those are my thoughts, that if you're new, it's a chance to buy. If you're already in, just hold. If you're a trader, this is perhaps an opportunity for you because you have both Bitcoins and cash to trade, right? That's what traders do, is to trade these swings. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, so now we explain, what's causing the crash and the diminishing effect that it has on the price of Bitcoin, right? If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. And then if there's any questions, please ask questions that's relevant to the China's effect on Bitcoin. If you guys ask questions about something else, then we're going to avoid it. But if you have some questions regarding the topic here at hand, we'll go ahead and answer for you guys right now. So let me see here. Hey, some of the, it's funny, while we're waiting for the questions to come in, I want to mention about how I'm glad that, I'm sure that there are some Chinese people or Chinese traders and investors that were not happy with the People's Bank of China banning the margin trading, right, and eliminating the margin trading and forcing the exchanges to add fees to it. But I think that's actually a good thing, because now there's no more funny shenanigans coming out of those exchanges and all the fake trading volume that's coming out of it. So I think they actually did us all a favor by cleaning up that margin trading.
This is another example why you should not keep Bitcoins on exchanges. I mean, it's not just hacks, right? We've always said that don't keep your crypto on the exchange. Like, get in, do your trading, get out. Now, if you're an active trader, that's not practical, because an active trader, that's what they do. They trade every day, so they need to keep their money on the exchange. But for those of us that are medium to long-term holders, don't keep your money on an exchange, because basically, if you had any money on those, it's not a hack, but it's as good as a hack, because you just lost access to all the Bitcoins on those exchanges because the government froze it. So you basically lost your if you were trading on those Chinese exchanges, any Bitcoins you had on there, you've lost them, because the government has told those exchanges not to release any more of your Bitcoins. You didn't lose your money, but the only way for you to take out your money now is you have to sell those Bitcoins at these low prices in order to get your money out of those exchanges. So it's almost as bad as a hack, right? Would you agree with that, Todd?
Yeah, I agree, because now instead of getting hacked by hackers, you're getting hacked by the government, and they can do it, and no one can say anything about it. We have like 3 questions that came in, and we'll just go ahead and answer it real quick and conclude this video broadcast. The first question, Leon, is how does this affect the forward remittance use case for Bitcoin in China? And me personally, I don't think it has any effect, because for anyone that's new to Bitcoin, remittance is where you send money back to your family or friends or colleagues back in the country that you come from. So if you're you're Chinese and you come from China and you want to send money back to your friends, families, coworkers, or colleagues in China, the government cannot prevent you from doing that, because you just jump on the Bitcoin network and send it.
Yeah, so this is going to cause a jump in things like local Bitcoins. And for readers who don't know who local Bitcoins, there's a few companies that do this. Local Bitcoins is perhaps the biggest one, but there's also like BitQuick and others. they're going to, a way to do remittance is you just send your Bitcoins to something like a local Bitcoins, and you tell somebody in that country that wants to buy Bitcoins to just deposit cash directly into that person's bank account, right? And that's that's something that is not impossible to ban, but certainly that's very hard to prevent people from just going in and dropping cash, putting Bitcoins up on a service that is outside of the country. I think, for example, Local Bitcoins is based in Finland. They act as an escrow, and you just say, you deposit your Bitcoins with a third party. Somebody just goes and drops cash into a bank account, and then the Bitcoins are released to that person. That's almost, I don't see a practical way to ban something like that, right? Unless you start stopping cash deposits in your whole banking system. So I don't think it affects the remittance market. It's not going to affect the remittance market at all, I think.
Okay, so the next question is from, that question was from Sovereign People. The next question is from Adam Zakutansky, and he says, why do they try to regulate Bitcoin? What's the purpose of that? And I can answer that. It's the reason why they want to regulate it is so they have control of it to prevent money laundering from drug dealers and from terrorist groups. And the government wants to know where the money is flowing. And with Bitcoin, if people can send their money into the exchanges and convert it to Bitcoin, they can send it anywhere they want. Now, one of the problems that China is having is that since they're cracking down on corruption and stuff, there's a lot of people that are taking their money out of China, and they want to take it to other countries, like to in other cities around the world, to store their money so that the Chinese government doesn't come after it. So in America, we have a lot of people from China bringing their money to Miami, to New York, to California, to Vancouver, to Toronto, and places like that, and just buying up properties and stuff. So one of the things that the Chinese government is doing is they're placing what's called capital controls, which means that they are restricting the flow of currency of money from China, from leaving it and leaving it China to go into other countries. And the reason why they want to regulate it and control the Bitcoin exchanges is because they want to prevent people from sending money out of China without them knowing about it. The next question is from Peter Kozinski, and he says that, do we have any stats on how many Bitcoins are stored on the exchanges? And I think that's something that that Andreas Antonopoulos has spoken about, where he said that we need some type of proof of reserve. And right now, there's no way for anyone to know how many Bitcoins are on each exchange.
Yes, they can report it, but some exchanges report it, but there's no standard as to how it's a big unknown.
Yeah, no one knows what that is.
Yeah, and Mt. Gox operated for, I think, over a year on fractional reserve, right? They were trading fake Bitcoins on there, yeah.
So Trey Angle, Trey Angie asked, or Trey Angle asked, are all these crashes just making Bitcoin stronger? What is the real value of Bitcoin right now? And the answer is yes. Watch this video earlier where I talk about how Bitcoin is developing a financial immunity towards some of these government regulations and bans and restrictions. Okay. So next question is from Richie Rich. Do you think Bitcoin should be traded in millibits? Right. A price drop from $10.60 to $9.50 doesn't seem so bad, right? Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Bitcoins is that you can divide it into 100 million units, so you can trade as small as you want. You don't necessarily have to trade a Bitcoin. And what Leon mentioned earlier about the majority of the world population does not own one Bitcoin. If you live outside, especially if you live in a third world country, I would make it a goal to own at least one Bitcoin. Because when this changes, it can be really life-changing money for you when that one Bitcoin becomes $5, $10, $20, $30,000, right? The next question is, there's Alberto Montano, and he asked, does the U.S. government have the power to freeze exchanges such as Poloniex? Yes, it does. And the U.S. government has the power to freeze any exchange in any country, not just the U.S., okay? So a lot of people think that their jurisdiction is only in the U.S., and that's not true. The U.S. has lots of power to reach out to anybody, right? Let me see. Wilson VG says, Tizen, Leon Fu, what are your price predictions on Bitcoin for 2020? We'll do that in a separate video, Wilson, right? All right, and that's it, man. This will wrap up, this will conclude this video broadcast. Leon and I just wanted to make this really quick so that you guys can understand what's going on and what the effect that the Chinese rules and regulations have on Bitcoin, and not to panic. And if you guys want to follow us some more, you're welcome to follow us at on our newsletter at cryptocurrency.market/newsletter and sign up for our newsletter, because Leon does not, I like to make videos, but Leon prefers to write really high quality research papers that we send out to our newsletter subscribers. So make sure that you subscribe to our newsletters at cryptocurrency.market/newsletter. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. If you guys have any friends, family, or colleagues that want to learn how to invest in cryptocurrencies, make sure that you share our channel with them. We try to share with you what our mistakes and the experiences that we've learned so that you guys don't make the same mistakes. So thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you guys in a future video.